military draft. Yesterday, June the 14th, 2024, the House of Representatives passed a defense bill that will automatically register young men ages 18 through 26 for the U.S. draft. So if you or somebody you know is between those ages of 18 and 26, men or women, we're going to be covering that in this video as well. You're probably going to want to see this video. I'm going to be covering the details for you of what it was that unfolded, and I've actually been sharing this with you for quite some time, as we heard back in November that there were rumors that the U.S. draft would need to come back. And that was because we had heard that if we were to enter into a war, or right now potentially World War III, that we currently have 1/10 of the reserves that we had over 50 years ago when we had the last draft in place. And currently in 2023, numbers have come out that the U.S. Army has had a shortfall of its goals by 23%. The U.S. Navy has had a shortfall of 20%. The U.S. Air Force of 10%, and the U.S. Marines are the only ones that have met their goals for recruits. Now, in addition to that, as I mentioned, this is 1/10 of what it was just 50 years ago. So we're going to be discussing what it was that passed yesterday in the House of Representatives, and also why this is unfolding. Now, in addition to that, just for clarification, this passed in the House of Representatives. We're hearing that this is going to be going on to the Senate, where they're saying this.
Have been moving. I wanted to show you guys this. The trucking industry for the last week have been moving nothing but military equipment heavy. That's all you see going up and down the highway. So I wanted to show you guys, to keep you guys in tune for what they're preparing for. It's nothing to be scared about, or me pushing any fear, but I'm showing you what is going on with the government and what they're preparing for. Check this out. There's 3 of them right here. There's 3 trucks. So let me continue. Let me show you. I'm just showing you guys what they're preparing for, what's coming down the pipeline. Look at this. Man, these are like Hummers on steroids, man. These are bulletproof too. Crazy. But that's okay. Whenever I get my powers, whenever the Most High activate me fully, I can just turn one of these over with my pinky. But just showing you guys what they moving. They've been moving tanks, moving these Humvees all last week. I'm talking about by the fleet. Just like the White House. Look it up. They just put those fences up. They preparing for chaos.
The Navy has deployed a nuclear submarine to Cuba in a show of force against Russia that we mean business. I come with you this morning with breaking news after a United States nuclear submarine was spotted in Cuba. Now, this is at the Guantanamo Bay location, and the United States submarine is part of a secret silent service deployment. What we do have here through the Associated Press is that a United States Navy submarine has arrived in Guantanamo Bay, Cuba, in a show of force as a fleet of Russian warships gather for planned military exercises in the Caribbean. Now, what you do need to know is that this is also the USS Helena. Now, the Helena is a Los Angeles-class nuclear submarine. Not only does this have torpedoes, it also has a Tomahawk land attack missile block, 1,700 nautical miles of range, plus also a Harpoon anti-surface ship missile, which is 70 nautical mile range. Yeah, so it could be launching these. Yeah.
Just insane. I mean, the Biden administration greenlighting the delivery of U.S. missiles to Ukraine and allowing them to be shot into Russian territory to attack Russian cities. So let me play this video by Alex Jones.
As soon As President Trump was convicted in the show trial in New York today, Biden canceled his speech tonight from the Oval Office to demonize Trump and moved to a press release from the White House that he has authorized the bombing of Russian cities with U.S. weapons. I'm going to say that very slowly. Biden, AP, Reuters, Politico, it's everywhere, just publicly authorized what was already going on secretly, the bombing of Russian cities to escalate the crisis. These people are desperate. The end of their financial system is here. They want to roll out their new system. Their bird flu has failed. Everything has failed. And so now they're trying to push Russia into full war. And he was going, they said 2 days ago, as soon as Trump was convicted tonight, have a press conference, have an announcement. He's now not done that. Instead, they put out the press release, we have authorized the bombing of Moscow with U.S. cruise missiles. These people are completely insane, like Adolf Hitler or Joseph Stalin or Mao Zedong. In fact, they're more insane because they've got more powerful weapons. So we are actually witnessing this. Biden secretly gave Ukraine permission to strike inside Russia with U.S. weapons. That's already been known, but now he's announcing it to force Russia's hand. Are you ready for nuclear war? Are you ready for conscription? The Selective Service announced last week they're going to start moving to conscript men and women. In Europe, they're announcing the new draft. I mean, this is going down right now. These people are crazy.
It would seem insane to provoke a nuclear war with Russia because then, well, what's going to happen to the Biden administration people? They're all going to die, but actually probably not. So I did some study about this over the weekend. I was reviewing the information in William Cooper's book, Behold a Pale Horse, which is a very eye-opening read. But I had never heard of this, and I'm actually surprised I hadn't. But it's called Mount Weather. I looked it up. It's legit. There is a massive underground compound. It's like an underground city that's, I think, like 50 miles, I want to say east, I don't know, somewhere in Virginia, in this wilderness area. It's called Mount Weather. And it's an underground city that's basically it's the shadow government. They have an office underground for every branch of the United States government, Department of Commerce, Department of Agriculture, Department of State, I mean, everything. And they have actual cabinet members that are not the official ones you see in public. Like they have like a Secretary of State, a Secretary of Agriculture, a Secretary of Commerce, in this Mount Weather, like they reside there. And apparently there is a president. So if like the entire government is obliterated, they have this shadow government underground waiting in the wings at Mount Weather. Like this is absolutely insane. Like go research this. Like it'll blow your mind. And one of the purposes of Mount Weather is they have dossiers there on all patriotic Americans that they think will resist any attempt to suspend the Constitution and implement martial law. So there's this plan in place. I mean, go read the book and go look up the information. People like Oliver North, other high up government officials have been questioned about this plan to suspend the U.S. Constitution. And instead of saying, no, there's no such plan, like, oh, that's class, can't talk about it. It's like, wait, what? Who? You can't just have a plan to suspend the United States Constitution. Like that's not in the Constitution. That's never allowed. There's an executive order out there. I think it was signed by Nixon. I can't remember the exact number, but it authorizes this, and it basically says that if there's any wide-scale emergency that would cause civil unrest, like they can implement these continuity of government procedures. And apparently part of the plan is they have all these dossiers on Americans like myself and probably everybody watching the show, that if you're the type of person that would resist a takeover, a suspension of the U.S. Constitution, they have a plan to basically come take you in the middle of the night. Yeah, in this city, it's basically they can live down there, I think for years, probably like 10 years or more. If they provoke a nuclear attack from Russia and the United States is just decimated from, or obliterated really from any kind of nuclear. Well, all these people are just going to be, they don't care. So they're going to go to Mount Weather. They're going to be underground, and they'll have everything that they need, and they'll have their own little city. And then once the radiation has substantially dissipated, then they can reemerge and just be like, oh, it's, this is our country now. Pretty crazy. And there's apparently 90 something deep underground military bases like this all over the country, but that's the biggest one, and that's like this underground city. But they have this whole network of underground military bases. They're connected by tunnels. I mean, there's been lots of research done on this by brave people that are willing to blow the whistle. So, that explains. It's like, well, why would our administration be essentially suicidal to try to provoke a nuclear war with Russia? Well, that's why, because they see that. So a lot of people see that as their way of, taking over the country permanently. So, I mean, this is just insane. I mean, the Biden administration greenlighting the delivery of U.S. missiles to Ukraine and allowing them to be shot into Russian territory to attack Russian cities. So let me play this video by Alex Jones.